Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Andre Salazar. Today, I want to talk to you about Bruce Jones, and specifically Bruce Jones's graphic novel printed by Marvel Comics, Arena Feel the Terror. So Bruce Jones, he's 74. He started out doing comics. He did some Warren work, Eerie and Creepy magazine. He did that story that I covered in the Bernie Wrightson comic. He did that short story, Jennifer. So he wrote that. He's an artist and writer. He founded Pacific Comics. So he did Pacific Comics, which then I think got bought by Eclipse Comics. Did a lot of... he also, besides doing the Warren stuff and the horror, the black and white things that he was kind of known for, he then transitioned and did some Marvel stuff. He actually wrote Incredible Hulk back in like the early 2000s and really did a great run. He did a really great run of doing Incredible Hulk, and it was the story where he's on the run. It was kind of like a throwback to the TV show almost. And that was really popular, and that kind of gave Incredible Hulk a big bump. He also then went and did some TV work. He wrote for the Hitchhiker TV show from HBO. I don't know if you guys remember that, but there was this anthology show. It's kind of a horror show about the hitcher or the hitchhiker, and he wrote for that, which was cool. So he's kind of like always been in the horror world. Again, starting out in those black and white work. He did some stuff with Corbin as well, Richard Corbin, and he did his own line again on Pacific Comics, that Twisted Tales of Bruce Jones. So he's well known. He's been in the biz for a while, doing horror mostly, but he stepped into some superhero stuff with Marvel DC, as well as writing for TV for HBO. Of course, the writing is so much quicker. You can make more money. It's a lot easier than drawing. But a lot of times people start out drawing to kind of publish their own work. I want to talk about this. First off, can we just talk about how Marvel, these graphic lines were so good? These were so good. I have others. Hang on, just 1 second. Let me grab them. These other ones, they were all so nice. This, here. I'm going to grab a bunch of these guys. Yeah, these are all just like really great, these sized magazines, right? You had the Daredevil one, right, which has been Sienkiewicz. Did we even talk about this one yet? We might need to do that. We haven't talked about this one. This is Love and War. We had Arena, we're going to talk about today. The Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom. These are all these kind of album sized. It's like the Italian or the European sized. Dracula by John Muth. Why haven't I talked about this? Okay, we got to do this one. I love John Muth. Emperor Doom. And then they, so they're not always like kind of prestige-y. They also just like some straight up comic books, right? Old school stuff. But it's always in this kind of format of this graphic novel style. So I do want to collect all these. It'd be fun to get them. I should probably create a list of all these kind of album-sized comics. Prestige. By the way, $6, dude. $6. Yeah, I know. You could buy a candy bar for 10 cents. I know. But still, $6, pretty nice. Let's go ahead and just do a deep dive on the story, the art. I think it's brilliant. So it's worth talking about. Let's go check it out. Are you ready? Okay, everybody, let's take a look at this. I really like his work. I first found it on, I think it was some heavy metal issues, and then I got those Twisted Tales of Bruce Jones by Pacific, and it had that very EC Comics kind of look to it. And I just really was digging the storytelling and stuff. So let's take a look at his work. Again, he did a lot of eerie and creepy, which I like. Also, we cannot underestimate or underscore enough or highlight enough Paul Mount's work. He did the coloring, and it is really well done. And sometimes the coloring doesn't add, and you think, oh man, this would look great black and white. I think the coloring adds great work. So let's take a look at this. The story, uses a 9-panel grid a lot, which I like. It feels like the gutters are a little wide here, but maybe my gutters are too narrow, so I might have to change that. Some of this, it does look like he used some photos for reference, which is what artists do. Maybe a tad bit too dependent upon those, but I like it. That all said, great ink work. I really like his ink line stuff. Look at this. This is a great piece. This is a piece where you say, okay, the coloring really added. What's interesting too is you see the cold press watercolor paper that the colorist is using in here. You'll see it right here. Like, you might not in this video because of the resolution, but you can see here the actual texture of the cold press watercolor paper, which is kind of fun. I like that a lot. My book has that, and I always thought that was an issue, but it actually looks kind of cool. But look at this. Isn't this a great little vista? He did a lot of crow quill here. You can tell in brushwork, and I dig it. No tech pens really were used, probably maybe a little bit here actually. Little Ford Mustang here, total reference, but it works perfect. You know that too, of course. That's what you do as an artist. You get photos and you sketch it out. And this could have been one as well. But great page, and I love the coloring. So the story is about a mother and daughter going on like a trip across the country after a divorce, and kind of just trying to deal with that. Similar actually to Shangri-La Estates, the book I'm working on, which is about a mother and son going through divorce. But here, Bruce Jones. By the way, this is all in 1988, right around the same time that, Sienkiewicz is hitting it hard. All these things are happening. Dark Knight, all this stuff is like right in that time. That was late 80s is really when there was a boom of creativity with stuff. So really dig it. Yeah, you can see it right here, that cold press watercolor texture of the paper here when they scanned it in. So anyway, they stop for a minute. They're kind of getting on each other's nerves. She goes out for a little swim. She's like, I can get away from this teenage kid that's driving me batty. So this is the mom. She goes out in the water, and then she sees this like weird futuristic looking F-16 fly off and flies into the water. And she's like, what the freak? Wow, what's going on here? Right? It's a great little pose there. That's like his wife or somebody probably modeling. And so she's like, what's going on? And then we see this little like spooky dude checking her out. And she's like, I got to go see where that plane is, where it crashed, and we got to go help him. And she's like, what are you talking about? The daughter's like, I didn't see nothing. And they go, little butt shot there. The Daisy Dukes. And they go to the spot, and they don't see it. They don't see the plane. And she's like, I know I saw this plane. Where is it? It's like a phantom plane. I don't know. Meanwhile, we now move to this like hillbilly, family. And the hillbilly family, this one guy here, Lim, was the one who saw her in the lake. And it's two boys, two brothers, and old granny. And they're gonna do some hillbilly stuff, like capture her and breed her out or something nasty. Then we skip over to the pilot of this ship. And by the way, this is in Missouri, which is interesting because the writer, Bruce, is from Kansas City, Missouri. So don't know if he used his locale for these shots, but kind of fun. He's from a Missouri boy, and I like Missouri a lot myself. So the pilot's like stuck in the woods, and she's like, I got to get out of here. What the heck's happening? And she comes across the mother. I notice they look a lot alike, same kind of hairdo. And they hear each other, but they can't see each other. It turns out they're in two different times. So there's some kind of nexus point at this location where different times are kind of meeting each other in some way. We don't really understand what the hell's going on, but they hear each other. And then we see she's in kind of prehistoric times, right? So the freaking dinosaur. So the pilot's in prehistoric times. She's wigging out, And then now, in our time, modern time, we have the abduction of the mother. Mother gets abducted. The daughter sees it. She's in the Mustang, right, looking. She tries to fight, and then paralleling that with the fight. No, excuse me. She tries to fight, and then she sees the dinosaur. Well, how does she see the dinosaur when she's in the present, not the past? The past was the pilot. So there's a little bit of confusion here of what the heck's going on. We don't really understand it all. So they bring back the mom. Let's just talk a little bit about the inking and the line work. This is kind of fun, just the way he's putting down these big fat lines with the brush. The pilot now we're in the prehistoric times again. Maybe we even shouldn't say prehistoric times. Maybe it's just all one time. It's all weird. Some dinosaur battles. Great stuff. A lot of this too, you get that kind of a little bit of that Bernie Wrightson, Frazetta type of work. Let me bring this camera out just a little bit more. Pilot meets this caveman guy. We don't really know much about it. We know that he's gonna try to accost her, so she does the good old elbow to the neck move, hops over a log, kind of a Spider-Man style, and she starts to book it. And she finds the Mustang. So now we see that the times are together, or at least these characters are now inhabiting the same space. So she takes off. Now, she knows, here's the little moment. We see that the pilot is the daughter, which I kind of suspected in the very beginning. It's kind of cool, though. So you have the daughter, who's now the future daughter, is now in the time with her mom, and she realizes, wait a minute, this is when Mama died. This is when that horrible thing happened. And now we go to that. A moment to talk about the coloring. I really like this kind of like some washes, maybe even airbrushed. Actually, it does look airbrushed with a little bit of white in it. I like this a lot instead of just having a black and white. But I like this. I like the tone, a little bit of gradation there with the airbrush. This is really, really fun coloring again. And the inking is well done. This is probably the peak of his abilities, I would say, as far as an artist and storyteller. This is, again, 88, 89. It's probably when he kind of peaked his abilities. And look at this. This is just great stuff. Again, I do get some Bernie Wrightson in here, little like hints of those. So there's the two brothers. The younger one is the slower one, Lim, and she kind of seduces him to kind of says, hey, let me go. We can go out in the woods, and I'll let you kiss me or something. And he lets her escape, and they go off in the woods. Meanwhile, the younger daughter. Is terrified by a freaking T-Rex. Is wondering. By the way, that's a great T-Rex. Love the blacks in that. And then she meets up with herself in the future, which is kind of interesting. And now, old granny and the older brother are looking for the young boy and the girl, the mom. There's a freaking pterodactyl or pterodon or something. Granny shoots it. And Lisa, by the way, her name's Lisa. So the Lisas, future and present, working together, and they know that this is where Mama dies. So we got to find her, but she's not there. Where's Mama? Mama is in this idyllic Eden spot here with Lim, because this is where Lim takes her to have his way, maybe you'd say. Look at the inking line, though. Look at this. Great stuff. Great depth. Really dig this a lot. I love his backgrounds. And she tries to talk him out of this. She's like, hey, you know what? If you love me, you should kiss me when you really love me. You don't really love me yet. You know, you should find someone you marry and everything. And then he starts talking about the divorce. So weren't you married? And don't you love him? And so he kind of like throws it back a little bit at her about marriage and stuff. And then we get some flashbacks of this, her leaving the family with the daughter and the kind of the conflict that causes with the daughter. And this is kind of fun whenever they do like the leaf shadows on the faces. Kind of neat. And then I don't know what this dinosaur is called. My son would know. It's like kind of like a Triceratops, but something else. They fight. He hits it. Granny's there. And she's like, pow, knocks her out. And now the Lisas are still looking for mom. And they try to get her, but the older Lisa's like, I ain't taking your crap. And I'm gonna beat you down. The younger Lisa's getting chased by the caveman, the Neanderthal. She's hiding. Those great faces. It's a good hand there too. I'm grabbing that. And so here, now we have the older brother with mom, and he's not gonna be easily tricked as Lem. They fight, they brawl it out. Some good brawling, a lot of like this up close fighting. Older Lisa comes in to save Mama. Notice the panels got smaller to show quicker action. Blah, 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 more staccato. But unfortunately, they do save each other. That's right. But then, yeah, she gets shot. Mama dies. Mama gets shot in the back by the freaking hag. Hag gets killed by the Cro-Magnon. And then, that's kind of an interesting choice there, that lighting. I'm not sure I dig that or not. And then it ends. It's kind of like, it's a sad freaking story. You're going to grow up to be a bright lady, Lisa. A very stubborn one. You need to know how much your mother loved you. You've got to believe that. And more important, how much you loved her. Save her next time, Lisa. Save her for both of us. I promise I'll try. I promise. I promise, Mama. I'll try. So it's like they couldn't change history. So the mom's going to die no matter what. This time the mom just dies by the granny. Maybe the mom died by one of the boys before. Didn't change history. Kind of a sad, bleak-ass story. But I really like those. Not sure about the name, Arena. I mean, I get that it's arena. It's this location that all these forces are like together in this battle, right? But Arena Feel the Terror, not sure I'm feeling that name so much. But I really liked, it was a fun story. It's just a one and done. I really liked the ink work, the art, the coloring's great. The mix of airbrush and watercolor and stuff like that. And it's a fun story. If you could pick this up, I bought this, and check it out. There you go. That's my video. Have a great one. Check out my Patreon for more of my videos and my own comics. And talk to you later. Bye.